Welcome to How to Look After Your Curls. This is a masterclass hosted with Garnier, and my name is Rena Vibes. I'm a beauty and lifestyle creator, and of course I've had a full-blown journey with my own natural hair. Today we're talking curls, confidence, and having the freedom to choose. We're not debating whether you need curly hair or straight hair. It's about healthy hair ultimately. And in the range that we're going to be discussing today, we've got the Keratin Sleek range. This is going to offer you heat protection, healthy styling, and no frizz. And then we have my favorite here, which is the Method for curls, and we'll go into depth about that as we proceed through the masterclass. So I'm going to point a question to you all. Hands up, who has ever changed their hairstyle because you were entering a new chapter of life? All right, hands up, I want to see the hands. Okay, now keep those hands up if that chapter happened to be from a breakup. Myself, I've had quite a few big chops. Yeah. And that leads me into, do you know your hair type? Many of us seem to think that, our hair is literally one curl type. However, many of us have multiple different types of patterns in our hair, and what I would like to stress is that although it is very useful to know what your hair type is, it does not define your journey. Okay, and here is my hair journey. Baby Rena, we started off bald. Absolutely had no hair at all, and when I did start growing hair, my mum decided to give me the whole Mr. T look, shaved sides, little mohawk. I don't know why she did that, but that led me to grow a beautiful head of hair, which took me through up until I'd say secondary school. Once I got into secondary school, I guess peer pressure. Everyone's trying new things with their hairs, gels, relaxers, and fortunately or unfortunately, that's where my relaxer journey came in. So started relaxing my hair, started exploring colors, did a big chop. I've had quite a few big chops in my life. I've explored with braids, protective styles, wigs, and then literally every part of my hair journey has been an expression of who I was at the time. And there's been a lot of growth in these hair chapters. My recent hair journey was locks. So I know I have loose hair today, but 3.5 years ago, I started my lock journey in the hopes of teaching myself patience, because we wasn't born with a lot of that. And 3.5 years, my lock journey taught me a lot about my hair, a lot. And I was also curious because I didn't actually get to experience my curly stage. And I just had this burning desire to wanting to see what my hair was like after locks. And the good thing that I could say is that once I combed out my locks, it took me 5 days. 5 days and a month for my hand to recover. And in that 5 days, that was a full circle moment. I had to not just learn patience, but it took a lot of love and care to take my locks out and also retain as much length as I have. And then we have today. I have curly, defined, hydrated curls, but I also like the freedom to switch it up. So sometimes I might wear it sleek. And the point in having sleek hair is just to change it up. It's not forcing you to abandon your own natural hair texture. It's just embracing a new style with health attached to it. What my hair has taught me, water is life. I don't know, many of you growing up in the black community, we've always thought water was the enemy. Oh no, you can't get your hair wet, stay away from water. But in fact, personally for me, water has been the biggest game changer for my hair. My hair loves water. Even with my locks, one of the things they tell you is for the first month, don't wash your hair. I'm sorry. My hair was used to conditioner water every single day. So in the early stages of me having my locks, I wet my hair pretty much all the time, and I grew a nice set of locks. Patience is power. We are on many different journeys with our hair, and the thing with hair is you cannot rush the process. You have to have a level of patience with it. And that can be whether you're suffering from any health issues or whatever the case be. Consistency is key and patience is power. And also listen to your hair. A lot of us will use protective styling, and whilst protective styling is great, sometimes it can also have the opposite effect, you know, through tension, if it's too tight, maybe wearing the same protective styles too often. So ultimately listen to your hair. If you feel like, my hair's not really agreeing with what I'm doing, listen, take a step back and just reevaluate what your hair needs. So when my hair changed, so did my routine. This here is an example of how my hair looks, which is one of the reasons I took my locks out. Bit of a vulnerable post, but so I have stress-related alopecia, and I've had it since 2008. And what tends to happen is when I get stressed, which isn't very often, but sometimes I feel like it tends to take it out on my hair. So around the back, I have had a lot of thinning. It is starting to grow back now. We give thanks because, again, it's about healthy hair. But there are many things that can affect your hair journey, stress being one of them. And funny enough, our hair is the last thing to receive nutrients. So while you're eating your 5 a day, yes, it's going to your body, but your hair and nails are genuinely the last place that gets those. So if your lifestyle or your healthy choices aren't that great, then you know it is going to have an effect on your hair at some point. Also, hormonal changes. We have a room full of women, different ages, that you will know hormonal changes can affect your hair, whether that's postpartum, perimenopause, or menopause. I'm about to enter my perimenopause stage soon, and I know there's some changes going through my hair. I know I don't look it. You're looking at me like, girl. But I am approaching that stage, and so, you know, looking after myself that little bit more, including some supplements, and again, using the right products in my hair can help that. And as I mentioned before, protective styling, as much as it's great, just be careful with it. You know, if you're sitting in a hairdresser, then your scalp's getting pulled back to heaven, you know, tell your hairstylist, you know, not too tight, or, you know, if you're starting to get hair bumps, loosen those braids or take it out, because ultimately you want the health of your hair. And my biggest discovery was water. When I understood that my hair loved the water, it changed everything, because it allowed me to know how to take care of my hair, what products are better suited for my hair, and that's what kind of leads me into the methods of curls, because they are water-based products. So with it being water-based, it just makes sense. You know that saying, make it make sense? This, for my hair, makes sense. So the method for curls, it is designed, tested, and approved on all hair types. And this is from 2A up to 4C. And yeah, Garnier have literally cracked this code in 4 steps. So within the method for curls range, you've got your shampoo and your conditioner. Both of these are sulfate-free, silicone-free, they're natural, and they contain some incredible ingredients. We're going to get to that shortly. We also have, and these 3 products here are right now my hair heroes. Garnier launched their method for curls last year in 2025, and we also have the air dry. This is one of their latest launches. So your air dry cream is literally your defining leave-in curling cream. It works great, as I said, on all hair types. Personally, I like to use it on damp hair, get it raked through my curls, and then we go in with the Garnier Flexi Hold. This is a styling gel. And I must say, it's probably one of the best that I've used. I've tried a lot of gels, and what I tend to find is that after a few days, the flakes are flaking. Don't let me wear a black top. The flakes are flaking, or it's super crusty. It just doesn't work. But this, yes, this, it literally holds your curls. You don't have no crustiness, there's no flakes, and I had my curls for 7 days last week, 7 whole days, and my curls looked as great as they did on day 7 as the first day I did it, and all I did was these 3 products. And that leads me to the Refresh Spray. So this is your daily curl refresh spray, day 2 curls, curl it, refresh it. It just brings the life back into your curls. Now, the formula, as I told you before, it is a water-based formula, and it is powered by a hyaluronic complex and shea butter. Now, hyaluronic acid is actually one of the most searched ingredients within the beauty industry. Many of you probably have seen it in a lot of skincare, but it has now been formulated for your hair, and it does the same thing. It's there to lock in moisture, hydrate your curls without weighing them down, and to seal your cuticles. And this gives you up to 7 days of hydrated looking hair. And that is a claim that I can stand here and put my hand towards. 7 days, it lived up to its claim. So, and shea butter. Shea butter is a fat that is extracted from the nut of the African shea tree. It's nourishing, it softens, and it adds shine while helping to strengthen and condition your hair. How to use. With the Flexi Hold Gel, again, I like to use this on damp hair. You can use it on dry hair, but as I said, water is your hair's best friend. And I wouldn't recommend really doing much on dry hair, especially if you're dealing with curls, or just hair in general. Don't detangle. Like, how many of you here detangle your dry hair? No, ladies, no. You need to be using, even if you grab yourself one of these spray bottles, put some conditioner in it and use that to help detangle your hair. Don't do it dry, because you're literally ripping your hair out. You need to be using water. Water is literally going to help detangle your hair in a safe way. You get a lot less shedding, and with the conditioner in the water, that just helps as well. And you can leave that in there. And oils too, so good. But no detangling on dry hair. Hi. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Conflicted.
It can also almost like stretch your back, and so it's trying to process the information is
How much? So what I would say,
how do you use water in an appropriate way, I guess.
so you would get to know your hair. So a lot of the times you spray your hair and your hair's going to react in one way. It's going to start to curl and shrink. Shrink, yeah. All right, it might curl and it might shrink. Everyone's got different hair patterns, right? But what I would generally say, use a spray bottle and just start, you're just misting it. You know, you're just adding that extra bit of moisture in your hair. Like, especially now it's hot outside, the sun and the heat is drying out everyone's hair. Just a little water, like every day when I get up, if I'm not refreshing my curls, I've got my conditioner water, and all I'm doing is just spraying my hair. I'll spray it, sorry if I got you wet. I spray it, I wake it in, and I just let my hair air dry. The moisture just, I believe moisture is definitely one of the benefits to healthy hair. I don't feel like dry hair is good for anybody, and water is definitely a way of hydrating your hair from the ends up to your roots. Hi. Yeah, hard water. And you're absolutely right there. They do actually, like, so in London, we are a hard water area. And the hard water can, I mean, you can see it on your skin sometimes. If you're drying out your skin, you can imagine what it's doing to your hair. So yes, you can use filtered water, but you can also now buy, and they're quite universal, the shower heads that filter through the water. I've seen a lot of American creators use that, and their hair is amazing and their skin's also great. But that's one of the downsides of living in London. Are there any more questions? Oh, okay, yeah.
What do you think about using rose water?
Oh, of course, and again, alongside these, yes, rose water. You know, you can even make your own rose water and things like rosemary. These are all great natural ingredients which are going to benefit the hair. Personally myself, I like to get some rosemary and just, you know, take a couple of sprigs, dump it in some water. Rice water is also good. So many of us cook loads of rice in our house, I'm sure. Don't throw out that water. Pour it into a bottle, leave it for 24 hours, go back and you can spray it in your hair. You can also do a bit more research on that as well, but rice water has been used for centuries in many different cultures. And the women that use rice water consistently in their routine, they do have luscious hair. And I'm still yet to find the science behind it because it's rice, but you know, when things work, they work. Okay. Yes.
It's like super hard. So even if you get those shower filters and you don't feel the difference, why don't it turns it from super hard to hard? So it's super hard.
Oh gosh.
But if you do use the filter water and things like that, just give yourself time. It doesn't work overnight. But
Of course.
that clarifying shampoo
Yes.
to get rid of the hard to build up. And then when you start using the filter water, then you begin to
You'll start to see the difference.
but it won't be just like one washing on.
Yeah, no, of course, and it's, yeah, no, patience is power. Right. This is the environment we're living in. All right. In moderation. I love that. I love that. Yeah.
I have a question regarding water between wash days.
Uh-huh.
When I wet my hair and try and moisturize it, it went straight out and I find it wool. But let's say I want to maintain like an afro, but I wash say 2 month cycles. How would I keep my hair moisturized without having to redo the cycle again? I don't know how much like.
So for me personally, during my week, I don't touch my curls. So all I'm doing is at night, it all goes up in a bun. I wear my bonnet. I wake up the next day, I shake it out. I spray it to refresh. I might go through a few curls if they're looking a bit puffy with some of the gel, just to define, finger tangle it. I try not to mess with my roots. Everyone's different. I'm not really the big, huge afro kind of girl, so I won't then go and puff out my roots after this. I'll just leave it because humidity will do that job for me. But in your respect, I would literally spray in between. You don't have to drench your hair. You're literally just adding a bit of moisture. So you don't have to go through the whole process of detangling. But if you've got little curls that you want to define, you can just add some product. That can be the air dry cream. It can be a gel. And just like define the areas that you want extra definition in. Is that okay?
My hair is like similar to yours, and I do it like in 2 days. I won't touch it, and then I'll mix it, and then I'll just put a bit of cream and add it. But it's like you add the spray.
Yes.
It will just touch
And right. You end up with an afro.
it anyways. When it gets to that point, then you add that bit of moisture, add a bit of cream,
And then you lock it in.
and pray.
And pray. All right, so I'm now going to give you a demonstration on how I do my curls. So I don't know if y'all noticed this twist just hanging out of the side of my head. Where's my clip gone? Give me 1 second. I did have a clip, okay. All right, so what I would start with is water. So this is my hair in its washed state. So yesterday I had washed my hair and I went straight on to do this process. I just left this little bit out. So this is my hair, natural state, no product, just hair. So what I tend to do is I will take my water and I'm just gonna spray just to like, literally I'm going to drench this section of hair. We're going to drench it, and also I like to focus on my ends as well. A lot of us tend to forget the ends. So my hair's wet, and that is now how it's looking. My curls are fairly defined just from the water. I then take my air dry cream, and I'm usually quite heavy-handed with my products. I don't know about everybody else, but conditioner never lasts me long in my house. So I'll take some of the air dry cream and I'm just going to rake it through my hair. from the tip to the root. You can use brushes. Initially, I just like to use my fingers. So I've raked that through, and again, you can see it's slightly more defined, but it's got a little frizz to it. This is my most favorite product of all time. Since I've gone back to loose hair, this product has been screaming my name. I take a little dollop first, and then I start to rake that through my hair, and instantly I start to get more definition. Oh, perfect. I didn't know where my clip went. Ooh. All right, let's pop that back there for a second. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen one of these brushes before. All right, so this is a curl defining brush. Some of them, this one looks a bit different to the one that I've got at home, but generally they've got the bristles, and then you have these ridges at the side. And what I like to do is try and get as much as my hair strands in these ridges, because that's going to help to define the curls. So I separate, because I feel like with my hair, because my hair is quite thick, it makes sense for me to work in really small sections, and that way I get the most definition from my curls. So again, I'm going to take some more of the gel, rake it through, then I'm going to grab my curl defining brush and just rake it through. Ooh. And some people like to curl their hair, like crunch it up. You can do that as well. And if there's any curls that don't look as defined, you can just go in with the gel and define it some more. So I'll repeat that for you. Again, I'm really heavy-handed with gel. And you can be with this because it's not going to flake on you. All right, so we work it through. And again, it works with this, and many of you know the Denman brushes, right? So you can still define your curls with a Denman brush. So just rake it through. Might help to detangle the ends first. Rake it through, and then it's going to just clump up itself. And literally, that's all I do. If you want, you can go in with, say, like some oil. With the air dry cream as well. Oh, okay. One last step that I've recently discovered is, although the Diamond Sleek is used for sleeking your hair, I have found, because this is heat activated, what it does with my curls is, if I now spray this and I was to diffuse it, it's going to take down a lot more of the frizz. So I just seem to have less frizzier curls throughout the time using this. So yes, this is ideally for straightening your hair, but it can also be used for your curl longevity. Are there any questions about the styling knife?
That was brilliant. Like that demonstration. I'm so glad that I saw what your hair looked like before.
Yeah.
Because like I used the product and I didn't like how I feel like it left my hair feeling a bit dry.
Which one was you using?
So I used the curl definition one. I did the shampoo routine.
Yeah.
But I think similar to that what you just said about hard water, I didn't have a shower head filter.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I used the filter in the water bottle. I used filtered water in the water bottle, but mainly because the shower water, I just didn't like how it left my hair feeling.
But you could always go in with like an oil after.
Yeah.
To
But
seal.
also, I didn't do it as, like, I think I'm a bit scared to put so much product in my hair because I feel like I have to wash it out again.
No, well, this is why there are certain products that you can't overdo on your hair. I mean, when I'm using this, yes, I do have the white residue, you know, when you're mixing products, but literally once it dries down, it's dry. There is no residue, it's not flaking, it just disappears. And
Is your hair still quite, from here it looks glossy and shiny?
no, it feels, I mean, and if you want to come and feel my hair, it's fine. It's not hard, it's not crusty. It still feels really soft. The curls are bouncy. Obviously, this side now is wet. So once it dries down, it's going to take away all my length.
So if it's not as, because if it's not as moist, it doesn't leave my hair feeling as moisturized as other products. What would you advise? You said something about oil.
Yeah, so obviously in the hair community, we've got the lotion, cream and oil method, the LOC, or whichever way works for you. Some people's hair, it works better to put like a cream followed by water and then sealing it with oil. Some people, it works better with oil first. It just depends on your hair type. Me personally, my hair works well with liquids first, and then what I will do is I could take like a hair oil, it can be any hair oil, and then I'll just use that and just scrunch it just to give it back the shine and add a bit of the softness in. But you can also use, you know, like if you've got like a leave-in conditioner that your hair likes and that your hair's already used to, you can also use that as well.
That was a brilliant presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Number one, that you have any videos to show demonstrations like you're doing now?
Yeah.
For us to look back.
Oh, of course, yeah. There'll be QR codes. So for my social media, I've got plenty of videos on there where I'm doing my hair. So that was how I do my curls. And this is a representation of half and half. So again, I don't always want to be boxed into having my curly hair. Sometimes I just want to switch it up. And I'm very much a person, you know, tomorrow, one thing about me is I'm not attached to my hair. I know a lot of people are. And as much as I do love my crown, it doesn't define me. And many of you know the India Ari song, I Am Not My Hair. And I've always taken that to heart because many of us in the past, you know, whether your hair's this way or your hair's that way, and it's made you feel a type of way about your own hair, then lead into whether it's insecurities or not wanting to have your own natural hair or, you know, wanting to cover it or whatever that case be. If I woke up tomorrow and I saw a nice pixie cut and the mood caught me, I'm very spontaneous, I have no problem hacking my hair off. 1, it's going to grow back. 2, it's going to give me a new character. And 3, it's just hair. You know, and whilst I love my curls, I also like to sleek it up. And that's what brings us into the Keratin Sleek range. This is a brand new range that Garnier launched this year. And what I love about it, it's very similar to the Method for curls. There's 4 steps. So you have your shampoo, your conditioner, you also have your mask, and you have the Diamond Sleek. Now, what I would say is, I know a lot of people are scared to use heat on their hair. I've had heat damage. That's one of the reasons. My last big chop was in 2021. Why? Because I bleached my hair highlights and my curls were dead. So I had no other option but to restart. And since I've taken my locks out, I have straightened my hair quite a lot. And every time I've straightened my hair, I've used the Diamond Sleek. And as you can see, there is no heat damage on my hair at all. And yes, of course.
How long do you think you should use this product before you think this is actually beneficial?
I'd say give it a good like 6 to 8 weeks. It's kind of like skincare. You're not going to use a skincare product today and then tomorrow wake up, oh my God, my fine lines are disappearing. It's not going to happen overnight. We need to be consistent with it. And sometimes I know you might want to see results now. But you know, the thing with your hair, same with your nails, you have to have the patience with it to see it through, because you're not going to know if it's working if you haven't given it long enough. So I'd say at least finish the product. Do you know what I mean? Finish the bottle, finish the tub, and see how you get on. Hi.
Really appreciate the technique.
Thank you.
If people swim and use the knife, do you have any recommendations for that? And then the second question is, how, in addition to products, are there any other things that we need to be, questions we should be asking ourselves so that we are listening to us? So I know that sounds simple, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's right.
Ingredients, first and foremost. So I'm very particular with the products that I'm using and what ingredients are in there. I don't want alcohol in my hair products because alcohol can be very drying. I don't want all the sulfates and all the nasty things that are the chemicals that are going to work against my goal of achieving healthy hair. So I'm always going to look for things that are water-based, because for me that's the whole thing. And in terms of like health, we're looking at, you know, herbs. There are loads of herbs out there that are great for the hair. Rosemary, thyme being one of them. You know, you've got your black seed oils and things like that, which are also good. Castor oil is also a good oil for helping to bring thickness back to your hair. In terms of swimming,
And I swim quite a lot, so I would say 4 times a week.
Okay, I can relate to that. I was in Milan last weekend and sis was doing up Little Mermaid. We were doing up Little Mermaid, swimming. I had my hair, I was trying to do, you know, when you see the girls there in the beach and they do the whole flick. Yeah, I was trying to do that. Now, when I left, first things first is rinse your hair. Because if the pool's got any type of chlorine, that is going to strip your hair. Before, I wouldn't really, I mean, if...
Before you get to at the moment I rinse to put like rinse before I go into the pool.
Okay.
And then I immediately, when I come out,
So what I would do is when you come out, I wouldn't necessarily, I would go with a conditioner. All right, so I would rinse and conditioner because the conditioner is going to help to bring back moisture into your hair and softness. And by doing that, then you can detangle and go about your way. Seal it in with some oil, but use conditioner. Again, I've had a very love-hate relationship with shampoos in the past because a lot of the time, some shampoos can be very drying. Like you put it in and it's like sawdust. It just feels really brittle. And so I actually used to use baby shampoo once upon a time because I felt like that was a bit easier. But as now I understand more about cleansing the scalp and, you know, healthy hair coming from a cleansed scalp, I do use shampoo, but I don't necessarily use it every single wash day. So I wash my hair quite frequently, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. So I might not necessarily need to do a whole full hair wash day routine next week. I might just rinse it, use a clarifying shampoo and then conditioner. And then once a month, I'd like to go with like a hair mask just to bring a bit more life back into my hair. Get out.
I probably wash my hair every time I go into the pool, so maybe
Okay. And you're saying you're swimming, what, 3 times a week? Okay, 3 times a week is not bad. But what I would say is use more hydrating products on your hair when you finish swimming. Because if you're finding that your hair is getting really dry after swimming, right, so that's where the conditioner is going to come in and help to detangle and soften the hair. This is actually brilliant. This is what I use in my water every day. So always it's never, and also you can use oil in here too. So you can have your conditioner with your oil, shake it all about. So your hair's kind of getting everything in that one spritz. But conditioner and oil will be your hair's best friend.
at the end.
At the end, yes. No, that's fine. Hi, darling. Yeah. Oh yeah, and that as well. Yeah, so.
And not keep having to redo the twist, but also before I swam, I would coat my hair in something so it wasn't absorbing all the chlorine water.
Yeah, but you can also separate your hair. Like that's one thing I forgot to mention. Yeah,
We've got coating so your hair doesn't absorb as much of the
chlorine.
Yeah, so it's gonna rinse out, it's gonna come out, but at least your hair's like got a protective barrier, and then you can find what works for you, whether that's for you for oil or a different conditioner that you twisted your hair with beforehand. But yeah, it's okay because I used to.
That's great.
And then so afterwards, I will do it as already suggested, but I will keep it, do that within the twist, so it wasn't.
Yeah. Right. So, is there any more questions in the room today? Any more questions about the products, the formula, the ingredients? Hi, Gordon.
Yeah, so I use the, what is it, the heat protector.
Yes.
That was quite good actually.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's quite good. The only thing that it's not giving me is shine. So
Really?
even my hair feeling healthy, like day 1, day 2.
Yeah.
But it got thick really quickly.
On day 3.
On day 3, like it was quite quick. But the first 2 days it wasn't shiny.
I also feel like sometimes with our hair type, you know, the thing with having sleek hair is that a lot of the time, black hair and humidity, we don't mix. We don't mix. So even though, yes, we can extend the longevity of our hair, like right now it's hot and it's humid, that is going to affect most of your hairstyles, regardless of what products are. I can use all the sleek products that I can, but as soon as I go out and that heat and humidity gets to my hair, it is still going to puff out. So like even in that picture where I had my half and half, albeit my straighteners were a bit rubbish, so it's not the most sleekest, and sis actually needed a trim, you know. If I went out with that, I've got about, if it's a cool day, I've got a good few hours. If it's hot outside, give me an hour max.
But does it, so I don't mind it getting bigger, but it feels, it's harder, like I have to now like entangle it.
Do you?
Sometimes there's one product, there's only one other product that's actually been like a wash and go situation where I washed it, conditioned it, and then
You can just go, yeah.
And then it was like I could run my hands through the afro.
Oh, I love that.
That's the only time. But with this one, it's like I put it in the mist, I took it out. I was like, okay, it's nice, but it got so thick. So right now, even today, I know I'm not my hair, but hair depression is still there.
No, of course.
I'm not my hair, but like I've got so many different textures in my hair today. So this is what it did last from this product. So the back is what it left me with after about 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And then I used the spray, the heat protector,
Yeah.
to blow dry it. So now I feel like weird because I've got like 3 different textures.
Take it on your hair. What I would say as well is the Garnier do have a stand there, and there is a professional hairstylist there. So if you do have certain questions about, you know, the styling of the hair, so I'm not a hairdresser, so I can only speak on my own personal experience, right? But if you pop over to the Garnier stand, they can, the hairdresser can go more in depth with you into, you know, what maybe